And then Chelsea and Naomi's talk turned to be about the BRCA gene, which just started to put me to sleep. I mean, this show has a lot of drug commercials when you watch live, but they don't need a drug commercial for insomnia because this could put you to sleep more than any drug can, I fear. What is up, fellow Beyond the Gates viewers? Here to talk about another episode of Beyond the Gates this week, a Tuesday episode, in what is seeming like we are going to be stuck in another boring week of the show overall, although today was much better than yesterday, but that's not saying much. Andre and Dani started in bed together. Apparently it was already lunchtime. They've been fooling around in bed all morning with love making. Dani is excited for the interview. Andre doesn't want his name on people's lips because, as we know, Andre's keeping a secret and he hasn't wanted to be in the public eye for some reason. This is one of the more interesting things going on right now, I guess, because it is a fresh story compared to all these other storylines that seem like they have been dragged out forever. Dani is seeing that Andre is obsessed with this champagne bottle that he didn't even drink. Andre is just saying he doesn't understand why someone didn't sign the card and why it's such a surprise. Nicole ended up calling Dani to come and see her, meet up at the club ASAP. Dani arrived at the club, and the big emergency from Nicole was to talk about her chat with Ted and how Ted made valid points about how Nicole seems to be spending more time with Kyle and kicked Carlton to the curb. And Ted basically saying in yesterday's episode that Nicole has chosen Kyle, or that's what it seems like. And Dani seemed to agree with Ted. So Nicole right now is just feeling bad for Carlton, who helped her through some hard times after the divorce from Ted. But they basically summed it up with the heart wants what it wants, which is true. Ted, meanwhile, was at the hospital seeing Eva and Shanice together after Eva's physical therapy with Shanice, which seems to still be going well. Shanice and Ted basically did their usual flirting, and now they just always tell each other, I love you, to each other. And then in this episode, the only other thing Ted and Shanice did was plan a vacation, and that was about it. Eva, meanwhile, was interviewing Noah, Kyle's son, for the free clinic manager job. Of course, Leslie had to arrive. I feel like we haven't seen Leslie for a few episodes, which is a good thing, because I didn't miss her. Even though I don't dislike her as much as some of you in the comments tend to dislike Leslie, but Leslie introduced herself, said that she's the one who decides who should run the free clinic because she runs the free clinic. Eva tried to tell her mama that she has this, but Leslie, in Leslie fashion, sat down anyway for the interview to be a part of the interview. So they went over Noah's experience. He doesn't have medical experience. Leslie was intrigued to learn that he is Kyle's son and made the comment that Kyle is one of Nicole's stable of men, which I do think caught Noah off guard. They also continued to question him about how he wants the job to pay for his musician stuff because he really wants to be a musician. And Eva asked him if that just means he wants this job to be temporary. Eva was kind of being a hypocrite, not wanting to hire him because he doesn't have experience, which is something that Eva never had when she started working for Ted. But Leslie is the one that ended up sticking up for Noah, bringing up the fact that Derek didn't have experience. And Leslie brought up the fact that her mom was a musician slash singer. So Leslie decided to hire Noah, and it looks like Noah is our new person running the free clinic after being on this show for 2 days. Well, 2 episodes. Leslie then, of course, ran into Dani and Nicole, who were together, and gets into it with them, which had Dani sort of threaten Leslie today. Which it was good to see Dani stick up for Nicole and stand up to Leslie. Leslie, however, still kept pushing, so Dani stood up with the butter knife, still threatening. Nicole told Dani that she can handle this and said that Leslie is lying about trying to turn over a new leaf even after what happened between Kat and Eva and the liver. Nicole told Leslie that she's obsessed with Nicole and obsessed with Nicole's life and obsessed with Ted, and she just wants Leslie to give up once and for all, especially with Ted, which so do I. This is very much played out because this show stretches their stories for too long and they lose all momentum. But Leslie says that Shanice is a placeholder for Ted, but Nicole had to be the one to tell Leslie that Shanice and Ted are in love. So I guess we have to look forward to Leslie spiraling over Ted and Shanice and whatever that is going to bring. Chelsea was talking to Naomi today about Kat being mad at her. Chelsea doesn't like that Kat is mad at her because she didn't mention Kat in the live like Kat wanted her to. She didn't do that, and she just thinks that Kat is upset because Kat thinks she was too nice to Eva. Chelsea thinks that Kat just wanted a new excuse to renew a beef with Eva, which is what it seems like. It is also the writing just taking a step back, which we don't need. And then Chelsea and Naomi's talk turned to be about the BRCA gene, which just started to put me to sleep. I mean, this show has a lot of drug commercials when you watch live, but they don't need a drug commercial for insomnia because this could put you to sleep more than any drug can, I fear. But Kat was with Deanna today talking her crap about Eva and Chelsea, and Deanna was being a supportive ear since Deanna and Kat do seem to have things in common. Deanna says that she asked herself sometimes what would Kat do when she needs help. Deanna says that Kat gave her an idea to handle Joey and it's working like a charm. Izaiah ended up arriving at Orphe Jean's, chats with the two of them. Turns out Deanna has also gotten advice from Izaiah over at Banneker because that's where Izaiah works and that's where Deanna goes to school. Deanna tells Kat that she has to take a call. She goes to another booth at Orphe Jean's and calls her ghost father on the phone, starts talking to him, which is another sign for us that they're just going to make Deanna crazy, which I don't like. I'm not looking forward to the story at all because, like I said, I believe yesterday, the Trash and Grandpa Gangster storyline is like the worst storyline on the show, in my opinion. And this show has a lot of boring storylines, but that's the worst because we not only is it boring and repetitive, but we have to deal with Trash, which is like not great. Izaiah ends up seeing her talking to someone, approaches, says she seems upset. She just says she got done talking to a friend and thought about her dad. Izaiah made it clear to Deanna that he is there for her. Noah later arrived there to see Deanna, sat with her. She asked if he was back for more money, but he was there to pay her back, and he gave her more. He gave her interest, not just the $20 he owed her. She then learned that he is now working for the free clinic dedicated to her dad. And I know there was some comments the other day when Noah was first on that fans don't like Noah's looks. And here's the problem with Noah. I'm assuming this character, who's supposed to be this struggling musician without a real job, sounds like someone that is in their mid-20s at best, maybe later 20s. But the problem is that Noah looks my age. So I looked it up, and he's actually a little bit older than me, and I'm old. So that's the problem, I think, with the Noah character. Sometimes the casting on this show, they like to cast these older actresses and actresses that don't fit these younger characters. So we have this person pushing 40, supposed to be the love interest for Deanna. Even though I don't think the character is supposed to be pushing 40, but the actor is. So that's not great. Andre arrived to sit with Kat. They discuss Chelsea and her old stalker Allison because of Andre talking about how he likes to keep things private, even though Dani has to do this interview and he's going to have to be a part of it. And then Naomi ended up setting Kat and Chelsea up to try and talk things out with each other. Kat is upset because All Eva had to do was lie there in the hospital bed unconscious, and then Chelsea was acting on the live like Eva did so much when Kat's the one that did so much, and she knew what was happening. This was definitely shades of the old Kat, I guess, and a regression for Kat. But they ended up wanting Naomi to take a side during their argument, which was Naomi's idea, because now they had a common enemy in her that they could agree on. And I guess that is what worked for Kat and Chelsea. I'm sick of Kat and Chelsea having these arguments. They have these arguments all the time, and they go nowhere. It's redundant. How about some different stories for Kat and Chelsea? What a great idea. And then Eva just went home to Izaiah, which to me was just their usual scenes at home, and their usual scenes that seem to revolve around Orphe Jean's food. You would think Eva would be gaining weight, which is much food that Izaiah brings from her, that Izaiah brings from Orphe Jean's to her. And then they planned this date, so kind of more of the same between them, kind of just more of the same all the way around. Although today's episode was better than yesterday, but still on the boring side.